have a quick hack for you guys. Not for everyone, but it's probably applicable to most people. And depending on how long your cut is, you might be able to do it more than once. So tomorrow marks the 3-week point of the cut, and today I woke up a whole ass pound heavier. So what is going on, people, and welcome to the video. So winter is coming, and you know what that means. If you said bulking season, you would have been very correct. However, before we do that, we're gonna go on a quick little mini cut so we can lean out and have that lean base before we start that bulk. And I'm gonna do a whole series on my lean bulking adventures of how to try to put on maximum muscle while trying to hold on to these precious abs. Well, I don't have abs right now, but I will have abs by the end of this. So you're gonna wanna make sure you subscribe to the channel. So go down, hit that subscribe button, and while you're down there, just hit that like button as well, because I know you're gonna like the video. Anyway, let's get into it. So before you get super bored with hearing me ramble, let's kind of just get into the footage. So I start off by weighing myself first thing in the morning with no food in me and after using the bathroom, and 146.6 is the starting point. So then let's get a physique update, see the starting point of where I'm at, and just a bunch of different angles, and I'm gonna get the same exact angles and lighting for when I finish the diet. So just a bunch of poses, and honestly it looks like I don't lift. I feel like there's almost no definition, not much size, and this has me questioning everything, but it is what it is. Here's a couple flexes for you, and I don't know why I look super awkward when I flex, but it is what it is. The diet should be about 3 weeks long. I don't have a fat loss or a weight loss goal or anything. I kind of just have a just want to look lean, want to have abs, want to have some muscle definition. So hopefully it's about 3 weeks, because in 3.5 weeks I am traveling home to see my family and friends, and I have some special occasions coming up for which there will be a lot of good food and all that, and I want to make sure I just enjoy my time back home. So I don't want to be dieting. So if I'm not happy with how I look in the 3 weeks, I'll probably come back and diet some more, which I've never done before. I've never really taken like week or 10-day breaks in between my diets. It kind of ruins the flow, so it's not ideal. So hopefully I finish it in 3 weeks, but if I have to, I will do that. But that's just where I am in my diet. I kind of in my fitness journey rather. For some people, if you really are at a different stage where you need to be focused in and really dial in to your diet and not take breaks, like do that. Don't do as I do as I say, I think, right? So anyway, let's get into it. 2 components, right? Diet and activity, right? So let's start with the diet. Very simple, flexible dieting. So you want to make sure you're in a caloric deficit, and you need to track your calories or macros, whatever you choose. I personally choose to keep it simple, just track my calories. And for me, if I aim for about 2,100, that puts me at a decent deficit where I get to eat enough food so my hunger levels aren't crazy, but I also am losing a good amount of fat. So 2,100 calories, give or take. I'll mostly won't go over, but some days I'll go over if I have to. It's not the end of the world, right? So the one macro that I do track is protein, because it's essential in muscle recovery. So the good rule of thumb is 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I weigh about 145 pounds right now, so I'll be aiming for right around 145 grams. And then between my carbs and fat, it's not that serious. I kind of focus more on carbs, but for the most part, let them fall how they may. So that's pretty much it for diet, right? I track all this using MyFitnessPal, very intuitive app. I would recommend you use it as well, the app that most people use, I think. So that's it for diet. And number 2 is activity, right? So for activity, there's 2 components. One is just your daily activity, right? Whatever, when you wake up, you go to the bathroom, you cook something, you go get some food, you run some errands. You're always burning calories through all these activities. So I personally just try to increase my activity levels when I'm dieting. So just be less lazy, go out more, do more, run more errands. So I'm burning calories without really thinking about it, without really exerting energy. I'm just burning more calories. And yes, it's a very nominal amount. It's not that crazy, but for me, I just like being active anyway. It's easy, it's like a lifestyle shift. So I just try to up my activities during my diet, and that's kind of intuitive, I would hope, right? So just move more. That's a good way to do it without really thinking about it or taxing your body. The other component is cardio. There's really two types of cardio. One is LISS, low intensity steady state, and the other one is HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. And I think the recommended route for most people, and that I would personally recommend and that I do, is LISS, which is low intensity steady state. And I'll kind of get into all the reasonings, right? But the biggest reason probably is that it's easier to be consistent. Because HIIT workouts, you know, and these are like the classes that most people do, Barry's, Orange Theory, Soul Cycle, they just beat the shit out of you. Like, they're so tiring, right? And nothing wrong with that. It's, you know, I love getting my ass kicked sometimes, but sometimes, right? Not always. So after a while, if they always kick your butt like that, you're not gonna want to do it, and then you don't stay consistent. And if you're not consistent, what's the point, right? So that's the biggest thing. It's easier to be consistent with LISS. But the other thing is just how taxing it is on your body, right? Because I would think most people, if you're watching this channel, would want to have nice muscle composition and look aesthetic. And for that, the biggest thing is strength training. Cardio is just kind of a tool to burn more calories. So you don't want to be having this tool taxing your body so much where then you're not recovering and you're not really building the muscle that you want to build, and you're not having the best workouts in the gym for your strength training. And HIIT workouts really interfere with that for the most part. Like, that's your main source of cardio, it's going to interfere. So I recommend doing LISS. That's what I'll be doing. And for me personally, I've recently gotten into running, right? So even when I run, it's conversational pace, so it is LISS at the end of the day. Even though it is more in the middle, but it is still LISS. And I will be running about 13 to 15 miles a week because I enjoy it, and I'll burn a good amount of calories. But then, just for good measure, I'll also be doing about 15 minutes on the treadmill after my workouts to burn another 150 calories, give or take. But I'm not really counting up all these calories that I'm burning through my workouts and all that. I'm just doing this activity and then incorporating it into my lifestyle, and then we'll see what the results are. But I think this should be sufficient to lose the weight that I want, hopefully 3 weeks, but it might go over, and if it does, you'll find out. So stick around, see how my diet goes through my eyes, experience it with me, and yeah, let's see what the results are. So my diet is done and dusted, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty successful, so I'm gonna get into the results. And as a reminder, my starting weight was 146.6, and I also got this little in-body scan thing done that my gym offers. And just a couple things to note here is that when I started, my body fat mass was 22.6 pounds, and my body fat percentage was 15.2%. Okay, so overall, I know I don't have a weight loss goal. I didn't have a weight loss goal, as I mentioned. It was more just to kind of lose body fat and kind of have some definition. So the best barometer is just pictures, obviously, but how I personally track, and I use the scale as the main guiding force to see how I'm doing. And obviously, I don't get too attached to any single weigh-in because I know that your weight fluctuates. There's a lot of factors to it, but directionally over time, I think the scale is the best barometer to see how your diet is going. So I'll mainly just show you my weigh-ins as well as other things of how that went and kind of measure off that, because again, it is the most objective, because just pictures don't always tell the full picture, and it's kind of hard to spot nuances a day over day. All right, so let's get into results. All right, day 2, let's see what we got. I guess nothing yet. Not impressed. All right, day 3, come on. Show me the money. All right, down a little bit. Don't worry, I'm not going to be showing you clips of me stepping on the scale every day. I think that'd be a little bit boring, but let's get into the rest of the results. So week by week, I'm going to break it down. So you saw the first few weigh-ins, and then you kind of see by day 3, I was down to like 145, so it felt pretty good. But then by day 5, 143.6. So that was hype, right? 3 pounds down in like 5 days. You know, I'm cruising, I'm chilling, I'm feeling like the man. But I know better, and you guys should too. That's not 3 pounds of fat. It's mainly water weight, right? When you start a diet, you deplete your body of carbs mainly, or you're eating less calories. A lot of that comes from carbs. So you have way less carbs in you. You drop your glycogen, and you drop a lot of water weight because carbs hold on to water weight. So in the beginning, most of the weight that you lose is water weight, and that's also why in the beginning people do keto. They lose a lot of fat or weight quick because it's you clean your body of carbs. But anyway, I'm not talking about keto today. Talking about my diets. Let's get into the rest of it. So then after day 5, you kind of see it level off at 144.6. So then week 2, you see kind of stays steady for about 3 days, but then you have 3 straight days of decline. So that is always hype. So by day 12, a new low weigh-in of 143.1, and around week 2 or so, you have a better picture of where your weight actually is, because it's not just water weight. Then you kind of are losing a little bit of fat too. So by day 12, 143.1, and then kind of back up to 144.2 or so by the end of week 2. But that's still like a little over 2 pounds less than my starting weight. So it's still pretty decent overall, even though it's not as linear as you'd like, but you know, it is what it is, and I'm fine with that. But now, let's get into week 3. So tomorrow marks the 3-week point of the cut, and today I woke up a whole ass pound heavier. And I'm demoralized, even though I know I shouldn't be, and I know why probably is the case. I can't help it. So now all I want to do is sleep, just so I can get to tomorrow and have a nice weigh-in and proceed with my life. Cool. Good night. Well, good morning. So today I woke up at 145.5. So about 2 pounds less than yesterday. So progress, moving in the right direction. I still know that this isn't my actual weight. I'm still holding on to excess water weight. So as I mentioned, I would talk about my hypothesis of why my weight is so high the past couple days. And that's because my friend was visiting me, and we basically went out every day, right? We ate out at least one meal a day. We went to this bakery every day, got some pastries. So overall, I did not stick within my calorie range. Yes, 2,100 is usually my goal. And I was probably maybe close to 2,500, give or take. But obviously that's not the reason for the spike. It's because we've been eating out and a lot of sodium, and my body reacts really poorly to sodium. And if I eat out, I can hold on to a lot of water weight. I remember it was a given day that my weight went up by 5 or 6 pounds. It totally psyched me out. So that's just my body, right? I just hold on to a lot of water weight, especially when I go out, and that's what my body's doing. So I do suspect that in a couple days it'll go back to normal, / I'll probably have my lowest weigh-in. I'm very confident in that. So let's see. Stay tuned, and this is hopefully the final stage of the cut. So let's see how we finish off. At the end of around week 3 was when I was supposed to end my diet, ideally, right? Because I was traveling. But week 3 was just filled with fuckery. And my body does that a lot. My body is really weird with holding on to water weight. The spikes are crazy. Like I said, I don't get too attached to the scale. And sometimes the scale can be your downfall. When you are using the scale, the barometer, it's easier said than done to not hold on to single weigh-ins too much. But it is what it is. As you can see, at the end of week 3, I'm at 147.7. That's a pound higher than when I started. So even though I know it's not real, I know I'm definitely down a few pounds, it messes with your head. And my head was certainly messed with. So I was like, even though at the end of by day 24, when I was leaving for my trip, it was back down to 144.2, so there was a nice little progression. But I was like, I can't end my diet. I need to come back and finish strong once I come back from my trip. So that is what I did. Alright, so I do actually have a quick hack for you guys. Not for everyone, but it's probably applicable to most people. And depending on how long your cut is, you might be able to do it more than once. But for me, since my cut is relatively short. I can only do it once, but it's honestly a pretty nice tool to kind of help with the progress on your physique. So I'll show you the next clip. And voila, there you go. I know this might seem like kind of a joke, and it is, but it honestly, I feel, makes a big difference when you shave your chest. I feel you can see a lot more definition, and it almost feels like you are leaner than you thought you were when you had the hair. So I always do this, towards the end usually, or sometimes in the middle, just when I feel like getting a little boost to see, where I'm actually at. So, pro tip for you guys. You see in the final stretch, I come back, and surprisingly, 144.2 the first day I stepped back on the scale after my trip. So quite a coincidence, because my body fluctuates more than that it's not usually that steady, but that was it. And then you kind of see a few days of going down, a few days of going back up, but perfect way to end the diet at 143.5, 142.2, 141.4, and a nice final weigh-in of 140.9. So that is a little over 5 pounds down, 5.7 I believe. So a little over a pound a week. So pretty happy with it. And let's flash the result on the screen. I was gonna label it before and after, but then I was like, if I need to label it, I probably didn't do a good job, and it's all a moot point. But the lighting should be more or less the same. You definitely see some more definition, especially during the back flex. And even on the side profile with no flex, definitely a little more definition there. See my striations coming out. And then the front, right? The pecs look more rounded. My abs showing a little bit, or a decent amount, I think. And the flex looks pretty good, and I even got a little less awkward with the bicep flex. My body fat mass was 20.2. It's a little over 2 pounds down of just straight body fat, right? And my body fat percentage is 13.8. So I'm 1.5% down. I have no idea if that's a lot or not. I think these numbers are pretty arbitrary on the whole, because this scale is not the most, this in-body test machine is not the most sophisticated, but I'll take it. 1.5% body fat down, 2.5 pounds of actual fat mass gone. Pretty happy with it. And another win of the diet was that I didn't really lose any strength throughout the diet. And usually you lose strength more on prolonged diets if you're dieting for a few months. Usually mini cuts, the good thing is that you don't really lose too much strength. It does vary person by person, and depends on exactly how clean your diet is, how much you're focusing on carbs and all that. But for me, I didn't lose any strength. All my lifts stayed the same, if not actually got a little better. So I was really happy with that. And I don't care that much about numbers. I'm not a competitive lifter, but it's just a good feeling to know that when you're able to retain your strength. And now I weigh like 5-ish pounds less, and I'm still as strong. So now when I go on my bulk and I put on more mass and more size and more strength, I'll be able to get even stronger. So that's a win. I also hit a deadlift PR, 3.5 plates. Really, really hyped about that. And we're going for 4 plates on the horizon. You will catch that on my lean bulking series coming up. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, give me a like, please comment something nice. Just say, hey, yo, Bick, I'd like to be your mate, I'd like to be your boy, let's hang out. Or just comment what you want to see on the channel, and I appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one.